Hey guys, Second Double A here. I know it's been a while, but hey, I'm back. In all seriousness, I'm sorry I've been gone so long. It's been a hectic time in my life. Since my last video, I went to VidCon, met a girl at VidCon who I started dating, moved 4 times, got married to the VidCon girl, and moved another 3 times for work. In that time, I didn't have great internet most of the time, so streaming was out of the question and I was too busy for long-form videos. So that's the short version. I'm sorry it's been so long. I'll try not to let that happen again. Anyway, let's get into the video now. So, I've been watching a lot of video game challenge videos recently. A lot of Pokemon, some Skyrim, and one Oblivion video. As soon as I saw the Oblivion video, my head started swimming with ideas for Oblivion challenges of my own. I also plan on doing Pokemon Skyrim and perhaps more down the line, but this was the challenge I was most excited to try. Can I beat the Mages Guild questline without using any magic? Okay, so let's break down what that means to me. Rule number 1, and the golden rule, is no spells can be cast. No use of anything that lowers the number on the magicka meter. If I'm forced to use a spell, the run is over. That is the most important rule and the only one that I consider to make or break the run. The rest of the rules are just to make it more interesting, but if they're broken, I don't think it ruins the run. Just makes me feel bad about myself. If you consider them run killers, I'm sorry? I understand, but I'm just trying to have fun here, so please feel free to leave your comments about how I didn't actually win if I do. I get it, and I'd love to learn how people feel before I get another one of these. So now we have some breakable rules. The first one, I don't want to use any magic items. The challenge is supposed to be a complete lack of magic. If absolutely necessary, I will break it, but this one seems like it should be alright. I think I can make it with no magic items. Breakable rule number 2. No scrolls. Technically, scrolls don't affect your magicka meter, so if I absolutely have to use them, I can, but I'd rather not, if at all possible, because they're basically just a spell as an item. If this one gets broken, I think this would be the most contested as to whether or not the run is a failure, but I'm not going to count it because I'm using magicka specifically as my golden rule. So breakable rule number 3, no alchemy allowed. I don't think this one will be a problem because as far as I know, alchemy is never required in Oblivion, but if necessary I can break it. And finally, to instill more challenge, breakable rule number 4, no weapons. I want this to be hand-to-hand. I don't tend to play hand-to-hand characters very often because generally using a bow is more satisfying and using a sword is more fun. Not to mention the fact that both of them deal more damage by default, at least they tend to. And that last part is the most important part. I want to use fists because it'll add quite a bit more challenge to the run, probably making it more fun, but definitely making it more difficult. Okay, I think that's everything. Let's get into it. I'd love to see some comments predicting if I can do this or not. Wish me luck. Oh, and one more important unbreakable rule. No mods that directly affect gameplay. I do have some graphical mods installed, as this commenter was keen to point out on my gameplay channel, but none of them will change how the game runs. Here's a list of mods I currently have installed. Alright, let's do this. So the game starts and it's time to make my character. I choose a Nord and I randomize his face until the shape is funny enough for my liking. Then I screw around with the tone sliders to make this. His name is Bichu Widowfist and he's our new best friend. He's bald, but that's okay, he's beautiful. We sit through some insults from a guy who can't even finish his own sentences for some reason. Some guards show up, and apparently I'm not supposed to be here. I'm told to,
Stay put, prisoner.
followed immediately by being told that,
This is your lucky day. Just stay out of our way.
and then told it,
Doesn't concern you, prisoner.
which one is it? I almost get killed right away in my first fight. This is going to be a fun challenge. I loot all the corpses for potions and weapons that I can't use, and then I'm abandoned. I almost get killed by rats, so I drink my first healing potion. I pick up some more weapons to hopefully sell later, and then grab some armor. I put on the armor because I'll definitely need it when fighting hand to hand. And then I proceed with Bichu looking even funnier with his new helmet. I make a decision that he will be a heavy armor user and proceed with beating up rats and zombies. This part isn't super interesting, so I'll catch up with you in a bit. You're only really missing out on rat and goblin punches. So after a while, I pick up a repair hammer and try my hand at being an armorer. It doesn't go great, but Mr. Widowfist seems to have found a new passion. We meet back up with the guards and help them beat down some more assassins with much less of an issue now that we have armor. After that, the Emperor asks how I feel about the Nine. I claim to not be on good terms with the gods, but I don't think that matters much.
I've served the Nine all my days, and I chart my course by the cycles of the heavens.
I look for a sign with good spell absorption or reflection or shielding, but don't find anything great, so I decide to just buff my strength and endurance with the warrior. I'm given a torch that I do not use, and then immediately almost get killed again by assassins. Thankfully, I have some friends, so I punch the Emperor and one of his guards. They really appreciated it, and were very thankful. Then I wait an hour and let them deal with the fight. I go through a door that they are clearly going through, and then they just don't. I'm told to wait with the Emperor, so I do the natural thing and follow them out to beat up more assassins. I get beaten within an inch of my life looking for Glenroy's sword, and then return to the Emperor, who gives me an amulet and a quest I don't care about right now.
You alone must
Then after
stand
being
against the
sliced and
Prince of
stabbed at through this
Destruction
whole
and
mission, he
Waltzers.
goes down to a tiny
You
knife.
must
Boris asks me my class, so I make my own. Bichu Widowfist is officially a non-mage mage. He specializes in combat and he favors strength and endurance. His major skills are hand-to-hand, of course, heavy armor, security because he can't use any unlocking spells, block, armorer, speechcraft because I'll probably need it to buy armor more than scavenge it, and light armor because I think the rough leather helmet is funny looking and I have decided that it is Bichu's statement piece. I immediately get bombarded with DLC quests that I'm not doing, kill a few more rats and goblins, and leave the sewers. I decide to head to Coral since I already have a quest marker pointing in that direction, and it's one of the closest mage guild locations anyway. Nothing interesting really happens on the way there. I just bunny hop all the way to build my acrobatics and punch a few random creatures and bandits along the way. In Coral, I make a beeline for the Mages Guild and I talk to Tikius about joining. Before I can officially do tasks for the guild, I need to get a recommendation from each of the cities, starting right here in Coral. Tikius asks me to deal with a lady named Irana, so I talk to her. She wants a book, but before reporting back, I decide to go improve my armor a bit, so I traded my rusty iron armor for not as rusty iron armor. Hi! Tikius asked me to go get the book Irana wants, but to give it to him instead. So I bunny hop on up to Cloud Top to retrieve it, fighting off a couple of wolves in the process. Eventually I got to the top and pulled a surprisingly intact book off a very much not intact person, and then head back to Coral and get my recommendation. I finally get my last DLC message and decide that bunny hopping from city to city is boring and just start fast traveling. In Anvil, I'm tasked with disposing of a rogue mage who has been killing traveling merchants on the Gold Road. I talk to this lady and she says to pretend to be a merchant and rent a room. Then this lady, who is clearly evil, acts clearly evil. And then Ariel immediately strikes up a conversation with her, and then we decide on the plan to take her down.
Now get yourself some sleep.
Okay, geez. I'm forced to sleep and level up, something I want to do as little as possible. If you know anything about Oblivion, it's probably how flawed the leveling system is. So generally you want to level up very little, especially early in a playthrough. That said, this one is required, so I go ahead and put some attribute points into strength, speed, and endurance to help out my fighting skill, my heavy armor, and my, well, speed. I talk to this lady because she seems deep in thought, but she doesn't have anything interesting to say, so I head out. The evil lady shows up to try to kill me right next to a traveling soldier like an idiot, so she goes down very, very easily. I head back to Anvil, and that's my second recommendation down.
A coin. Hotkey. One more coin, and I can get a pair of shoes. The Fighters Guild is recruiting again. Not a bad way to make some money, if you've got the stones for it. Thank you, kind sir. Blessings of Mystara upon ye.
I head on up to Bruma. Jean, or is it Gian, or Gianna?
Please come find me as soon as you...
This lady. She wants me to find a cat for her. I have to pick a lock instead of using a spell to open her desk, but aside from that, this one's easy. Next.
Found him, did you? Well, I suppose that's good.
Heading to Cheydinhall, Falcar would like me to go get a ring for him. It weighs about 120 points of carry weight, and you're supposed to get it by using a spell that gives you the ability to carry more and breathe underwater, but it's completely unnecessary. I have enough strength and I'm traveling light enough that I can just pick it up and go. Deetson says she'll give me the recommendation after I give her his black soul gems, and we can move on. Now we're in Breville, and this guy is
really not one for engaging in conversation. Please.
Even after I give him a blessing from the statue. Kuda would like us to get a stolen staff back.
And you can learn something about the power of illusion in the process.
No. Anyway, I'll butter this guy up and get the info from him I need. I have to go to the Imperial City to get the staff back.
Any luck talking with Varen Vermori yet? It should be no trouble at all once you use that scroll.
I'm not going to.
Varen Vermori should give it to you once you've persuaded him, if you understand me.
Ew. So I go to the Talos Plaza district and break into Soros Arenim's house, and then into his drawer and steal the staff. Nice and easy, let's move on.
I don't suppose you could help.
No.
Lift your hands
In
to
Leowyn,
one
the Gale asks me for her Seer's Stone. I have to go dig up her father to get it. So off we go.
Oh, what's the matter? Is the baby gonna cry?
Okay, that's the first time I've heard that line. This marauder almost kills me, so I know it's going to be a fun dungeon. A fungeon, if you will. I beat up some more of those marauders, and then it's time to move along deeper into the fort. Alright, a little bit later, I beat down a couple imps and grabbed the stone off to Gale's dad's carcass.
Look, just stop right there, all right? I can't let you leave with that amulet. I need it right now. I took the other one, and it's not even as if I was going to keep it forever. I was going to give it back to her once she helped me advance out of that place and step... Why are you trying to ruin everything?
Alright, so I head out of the fort and get to Gale her amulet. Getting close now, just one more recommendation to go.
Found it, have you? Ah, child, I thank you for helping me.
Adrian, or is it Adriana?
Your Adrian told
him
he couldn't practice.
Adrian?
We'll just have to do something
This
about
lady.
that, won't we?
She wants us to find
By
Earthor
we, I
after
mean
she
you,
told him to go
of course.
away.
I have something that may help. It's a basic fireball spell. in case you
Yeah, I
need to
won't be
defend
using that.
yourself.
Heading up to Bleak Flats Cave, it's overrun by zombies that I need to take down to get Earthor out of here. Unfortunately, zombies don't care too much about being punched in the face, so it takes a lot of hits to take them down, and they come close to killing me a couple times along the way. I wouldn't have been able to get through this if you couldn't heal by waiting. I do make it through though, and Earthor gets back to Skingrad.
Safe and sound. Well, yes. I'll just pack up my supplies and be on my way then.
Oh, okay, so that was like completely worthless.
Hello, Guildman.
And that's all of them. I can finally start the Mages Guild proper.
Hello, Associate. It seems you've obtained the final recommendation you required.
I head to Wellspring Cave to get my Mage's Staff, which I will undoubtedly get plenty of use out of, only to find the cave overrun by necromancers. I dispose of them quite easily until I get to the other side of the cave. The necromancers outside beat me to 2 hit points before I dispatched them. I picked up the staff and got the heck out of there. Now it's time to choose what my staff does, so I choose the most useful spell for it. Telekinesis. Now we have a staff that is arguably more useless than when we gave it to him, and I'm promoted to Journeyman. So now I have to go to the castle, Skingrad, talk to this guy, and then sit around for 24 hours while he tries to convince the Count to talk to me.
You there.
He says, I did it! Meet him at this place and time. So I do so. But uh-oh, Trickaroo, he's a bad guy. You got me. The Count is like, wow, you're an idiot. And then a sheep kills me and I have to do it again. Seriously, I have no idea why, but this sheep really hated me and joined the side of the necromancers. Both times this happened. I had to kill the sheep just to survive. I report back and get promoted to Evoker. I talk to Erlov Gerald and he sends me to Vodison to help out with someone else's mission. And this is where everything goes wrong at once. First, I think I need to break a rule to get through this quest, and it's the least breakable of the breakable rules. As far as I can tell, I have to use scrolls to get through this pillar. Unfortunately, that seems to be the only legitimate way through. I even tried a well-known speedrunning trick to pass through the pillar, but I couldn't get it to work. So my only options through the pillar are with either scrolls or collision-based console commands. You are more than welcome to call the run a failure from here, but I'm going to carry on, as no magicka is used, so I'm going to claim they're not really spells, especially since you don't need to have a certain skill level to use scrolls with spells you normally would. And here's the second problem. I was recording very late at night and didn't think to back up save files, and the video corrupted when I tried to upload the fourth part to my gameplay channel, so I lost about 2 hours of video. I had to restart everything to get my footage back. So I did precisely that. Meet another friend of mine, the cousin of Bichu with a fist, Bichu 2. If possible, I think he looks even more ridiculous. In full disclosure, I cheated to get him back here, but I matched his stats to the best of my abilities with those of Widowfist to give him a genuine experience. Nothing you will see from him is cheated either, so I hope you'll excuse it. So for the next hour or so, I played as Bichu 2. So, we head through Vodison, avoiding ghosts as much as we could, almost got killed by a trap, and retrieved a random helmet. Sorry if it seems like I'm skimming past stuff here. Like I said, I had already played through this part once, so I knew it was possible. I was just trying to get through it as quickly as possible. I head back to the Imperial City, then realize I forgot to talk to Skaliel, who tells me to go to the Imperial City.
What a waste of my talents.
Back at the Imperial City, I give the helmet to Erlov. He says thanks, and I'm a conjurer. They want me to wear new conjurer's robes, but no. I need to talk to Tarmina, and then I need to go get some proof of black soul gems being made. I head over to Dark Fissure after being told not to put myself in danger. So naturally, I immediately punch a guy in the face as soon as I get there. Nice and easy though, no real challenge. In the Widowfist playthrough, I went into the cave and died twice, but not so difficult this time. Now I am a and will no longer be getting my tasks from this guy. Now my orders come straight from the top. I wake up Traven, and he tells me to go check on their guy on the inside. They had already sent a troop to check on him once, but they haven't reported back. I head over to check on him, but unbeknownst to me, an ogre followed me in and killed the one guy left from the original brigade, granting me some steel armor in the process. Heading through, I have to take down several skeletons and necromancers, but thanks to weight healing, I'm never really in any real danger.
How are you?
Turns out our informant has been turned into a zombie. That would explain the lack of communication, I suppose. I pummel him into the ground and head out to report back to Traven.
You are a magician no more.
Now I have to go back to Skengrad and talk to the Count to follow up after the sheep killed me. I'm told to wait for the Count and not to move. It takes about 4 hours for him to come and talk to me.
How goes it?
So the Count has information for the Mage Guild, but won't give it to me until I make sure some vampires and vampire hunters in the area are dead. So I let the leader of the hunters know where the vampires are and wait a while. Once all the vampires are dead, I go about offing the hunters, paying a fine or two along the way. Oh, the game crashed. Okay, well, I'll just load it back up and... oh! Alright! So, I redo pretty much everything I just did as Bichu 2, and then come back to recording. The vampires are dead again, as are the hunters, and now I can move on. Turns out someone named Manamarco exists.
What?
I wait 2 days, and then Traven tells me to go check on the lady in Bruma because she's not being as annoying as usual. So I head to Bruma and have a fight with a bunch of zombies and skeletons. They look like they're wearing socks. I find that Jaskar is the sole survivor of the attack, and he reveals that it was Manamarco himself that caused this.
There's not much to do here in the Bruma Guild. I couldn't believe my eyes. I think the only reason I'm alive is because I was invisible. Volonaro was last, I think. He was trying to run away, but he didn't make it, did he?
So I report back to Traven, and then I'm forced to wait around for 3 days before he gives me a new mission.
I reward you with the rank of wizard and teach you a most powerful spell.
Thanks, I will absolutely not be using it. The next mission is to go get the Bloodworm Helm and the Necromancer's Amulet from Urlach, Juro, and Karanya. So we're going to get the helm first, as that's just what felt natural.
Mike knows much, tell some. Mike knows many things others do not. I do not wish to fight on horseback. It is a good way to ruin a perfectly good horse, which is to say, a perfectly good dinner.
So we head to Fort Ontis, which of course is overrun with necromancers. I dispose of them in quick fashion without too much danger overall, though the scamps later in the fort do give me a little trouble. It's not so bad though, and after fighting a Dremora, I get the helmet back from Erlov's corpse. I'm told to take the helmet back to the Archmage immediately, but I'd rather wait and get the other artifact first. So let's head over to get the Necromancer's Amulet. I'm just gonna punch everyone in here for fun. We're about to switch back to beat you with a fist though, as this meeting with Karanya is where the corrupted recording ended. Believe it or not, I died 15 times in this fight before I finally caved and decided to break another rule. I left the dungeon for a bit, made a quick trip back to the Imperial City, and stole the bands of Kwang Lo. I put on those and the Bloodworm Helm and came back. And then I died another 4 times before giving up for the time being. And that is where the corrupted recording ended. Now we're back permanently to beat you with a fist. I wish I'd gotten a chance to show you all my failed attempts because this went with almost no problem at all. Quite annoying. That said, I go through the remainder of the dungeon with ease, having already cleared out all of Karanya's minions before trying to fight her. I also take off the enchanted items with the hope of never needing to use them again. I take both items back to Hannibal Traven for my next assignment, but first I become a
Master wizard.
Bear in mind, I have never cast a spell in my life, but sure, Master Wizard.
Congratulations.
Next I need to head to Cylorn to receive a Black Soul Gem from Falkar. Again, but way more powerful than the last one. I punch a rat on the way and then I'm there. I have to help these people strategize, so I put them all where they're supposed to go, and then I immediately blow our cover because I'm heavier than a safe. So we kill everyone and I head into Cylorn. I then spent way too much time trying to find how to get over this bridge before realizing I can just take off my armor to be super light and jump around these doors. I did so, and then I put my armor back on. I only have to fight through a couple more necromancers, and then it's time to fight Falkar. He has a lot of health and won't stop healing himself, so he gives me quite a challenge. Between his skeleton and his destruction spells, he almost kills me several times in this fight, but I get the gem and head out of the ruin. I head to the Arcane University and give the gem to Traven.
Are you truly prepared for this task?
No.
Please be generous, kind sir.
Oh wow, someone not faking their voice.
Thank you, kind sir.
Oh. So I go back to Traven, who kills himself. And now it's time to talk to Mana Marco. I decide to level up ahead of time, hoping that it may make the fight easier, but understanding it may do the exact opposite. So I level up 4 times, murder Lucy and LeChance, and head down to finally take on Echo Cave. Alright, zombie time. Immediately, I find that I leveled up the right stats. Everything is going quite easily now, especially in comparison to the rest of the run. It makes me feel stronger, something that Oblivion's level system is not known for doing. I feel ready to fight the King of Worms. Let's do it. I try to tell him I'll serve him if he spares my life, but he doesn't go for it. So instead I just start wailing away on him. He might be the easiest dungeon boss of this whole challenge. He goes down in 20 seconds and that's the end of it. I go back to the Arcane University, wake up Romanus who calls me,
Archmage,
and that's it. Challenge completed with only 2 breakable rules broken. I am victorious and I'm never wearing the robes he gave me. Archmage beats you with a fist is here. Overall, this challenge took me about 4.5 hours, plus the 2.5 of using Beat You 2, for a total of around 7 hours. Despite the frustration throughout, I am very proud of myself for completing this challenge and had a lot of fun. I'm excited to do another soon. Next, I think I'll do the inverse of this challenge, the Fighters Guild with no fighting, only magic. In the meantime, thank you so much for watching and being patient for new content. I'm going to try very hard to never make you wait 6 years again. I am so sorry for that. Hey, that's going to be all for today. Thanks for getting this far in. I'm so happy to be saying this again. Goodbye.